for some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone. It is the 13th of November, and we have a lot of news. A lot of it's kind of craptastic, so we'll have video clips in the middle because I didn't even pull Lord Chippy today. We've just got a lot of headlines and a lot of crazy. So that is where we're going today. I hope everyone's having a really good Thursday. I am, hoping that in the next couple weeks, my walking pad won't kick my own behind. But I am back at the beginning of 10 minutes and then Hagatha is done. So you'll have to bear with me for the kind of squirrely next couple of weeks as I get back on the walking pad train. So I might be a little squirrelier than normal, but hopefully still the same level of quality and, well, crazy that I'm, and yes, I am, Mr. Mo has, I know, a craptacular, basically. So, there you go. That is what, we will be doing and dealing with the next couple of weeks. Now, the big headline, and as this is not a political channel, I don't have a whole lot of hot takes on this, but the big headline today is that President Trump has signed a funding bill that ended the historic 43-day government shutdown. Now, President Trump has signed a funding bill Wednesday evening that will end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, just hours after the House of Representatives passed legislation that ended the 43-day standoff. Now, I'm not going to get deeper into this article. There's a lot of political stuff, and there are billions of channels out there that will give you their hot take and what it means for whichever side of the political chaos you wish to be on. I personally feel like the government's back. Yay! I am glad that people are getting paid and all of that, but it's kind of like, yay, the DMV is back. Celebrations, I guess, question mark. That, I mean, saying all that, I do hope that, travel will not be affected and everything can go forward for the holiday. I don't know how much the holiday travel snafu potentiality lit a fire under people's behinds, but I'm glad that at least, they pretended to work together to screw us all over again. I don't know. It's political stuff. I mean, we're the little guy and it's a club we're not in. Per George Carlin, that's kind of how I feel like politically. Now, another big headline that I think is going to cause a lot of international upset and intrigue and is something that will be a big issue, I do think, coming up. There are stories and allegations coming out that rich sniper tourist allegedly paid up to $90,000 to shoot at civilians, including children, during human safari trips during Sarajevo. So I expect this to be a big headline. It is absolutely horrifying if they have evidence and proof that this did happen. If this did happen, I want every single, disgusting, corroded kleptocrat who decided they wanted to do these safaris to go in prison or to Nuremberg. I mean, I have no idea what it, and I hope that this is something that is not true, but having brought you the news for almost 3 years, it might be, you guys. Wealthy alleged sniper tourists were paying upward of $90,000 to shoot people during human safari trips to Sarajevo in the early 1990s, with extra fees to take the lives of children, according to wild claims being probed by Italian prosecutors. Now, the investigation was sparked after an Italian writer alleged that he had uncovered evidence that wealthy gun enthusiast, dubbed Sniper Tourist, would pay Bosnian Serb forces for the chance to take down residents at random during the 4-year siege of the city, according to The Guardian. Now, more than 10,000 were killed in Sarajevo by snipers and shelling between 1992 and 1996 during the Balkan Wars. Now, there are a lot of good videos about the Balkan Wars. I am not going to hold myself out as an expert or anything like that. I know enough to know I don't know a whole lot about the Balkan Wars, but I do know it was an exceptionally violent, bloody, and just awful conflict. And because of the brutality and some of the things I've learned about that conflict, this is not outside the realm of possibility, and that's terrifying to me. Quote, there were Germans, French, English, people from all Western countries who paid large sums of money to be taken there to shoot at civilians, said Izio Gavanzini, an investigative writer. Now, I have probably messed up his name. There were no political or religious motivations. They were rich people who went there for fun and personal satisfaction. We're talking about people who love force multipliers, who perhaps go to shooting ranges or on safari to Africa. Now, and so said he first read reports of the alleged tourist-led shootings in Italian media outlets in the 90s, but started digging deeper after watching a 2022 documentary about a former Serb soldier who claimed that foreigners would shoot residents from the hills in Sarajevo. Now, he claims a key source, it was a former Bosnian intelligence officer. The newly launched probe, being led by prosecutors in Milan, is seeking to identify any Italians that might have been involved in this so-called sniper tourism. So if true, it does look like the Italians are moving on this. And if it breaks that there were, other countries and nationalities involved and there is proof, then this will become an international incident, I think. So definitely keep an eye on this, and definitely, find different sources, that have both sides, because as I said, I don't know a whole lot about this to even have a hot take, but if this is true and evidence can be found, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know how we prosecute people. I don't know if that leads to another Nuremberg style thing where we do crimes against humanity. So this is a case to watch because it is rather, heartbreaking, terrifying, and all of the above, basically. But, to throw out there that this has not been confirmed, there are investigations going out there. So, take everything you hear about this until it's confirmed with a grain of salt. Now, NZ has already uncovered the identities of some Italians that allegedly were involved in massacres, and they are expected to be questioned by prosecutors in the coming weeks. The Bosnian consulate in Milan said that the Bosnian government would offer total collaboration amid the probe. We are patient to discover the truth of such a cruel matter in order to close that chapter of our history. I'm in possession of certain information I will be sharing with the investigators, a spokesperson from the Bosnian government did confirm. So, keep an eye on this. As I said, I didn't pull Lord Shippey because we have more headlines. Today is just craptastic, okay? There are not any good headlines at all. In An update to a case that just keeps getting weirder and weirder. The Melody Buzzard case is just getting weirder and weirder, and we have another update. A man is alleging that Melody Buzzard's mom held him captive after disclosing information that she regretted. The mother of a missing Southern California girl who authorities say has refused to answer questions about her daughter's whereabouts has now been accused of holding a man hostage in her home after allegedly disclosing sensitive information to him. What in the name of Hades in a handbasket is going on with this case? I mean, you've got a mom now holding someone hostage because she told him too much. What in the mafia, Tim, you godfather is going on here? Ashley Buzzard, the 40-year-old mother of Melody, was charged with one count of false imprisonment by violence, according to a criminal complaint filed against her on Monday. Now, she is accused of unlawfully violating the personal liberty of Tyler S. Brewer on Thursday and is scheduled to be arraigned on Wednesday. Now, Buzzard's daughter, 9-year-old Melody Buzzard, was reported missing on October 14th, according to Santa Barbara's Sheriff's Office. Now, the mother has emerged as the central focus in the investigation after taking her daughter on that sudden road trip to Nebraska on October 7th and returning home alone without her daughter. Now, according to the sheriff's office, during that trip, Buzzard switched her license plates on the rental car and also wore wigs in what investigators described as a possible attempt to avoid detection, or at least obfuscate where she and her daughter were going at the very least. Now, Melody was confirmed last seen on a surveillance camera near the Utah-Colorado border on October 9th, according to the sheriff's office. Now, Buzzard was arrested Friday on false imprisonment charges unrelated to the investigation into Melody's disappearance. However, I do think it is related, since it seems like she told this guy something she didn't want the officers getting. But that's pure speculation on my part. Also, don't use wigs for crime. It makes all of us who have a stash of wigs in our closet look really sus. So don't do that. I don't want to have to get carded for wigs now. I mean, I'm already carded for a carry cup and freaking, Sudafed. I do not want to be carded for my wigs. Now, Brewer said in a statement that he had come to visit Buzzard at her Vandenberg Village home to offer assistance for, her search for her missing daughter. But the situation quickly escalated. Miss Buzzard became visibly distressed after sharing information she appeared to regret disclosing, said Brewer. A box cutter was produced, and despite multiple requests to be allowed to exit the home, I was not immediately permitted to leave. He said that Buzzard used several locks to secure the door and that this temporarily, prevented him from leaving. Brewer works as a paralegal in the Central Coast area and said that he is a mandated reporter and had to contact the authorities. In that capacity, I immediately reported concerning communications and inconsistencies in her statements to law enforcement. He also told News Nation's Banfield that Buzzard had told him where and with whom she had dropped Melody off, although he's not sure whether this information is true. Now, he told the program he has known Buzzard since 2014 and has been coming to check on her ever since news of her daughter's disappearance went public, noting that she acted extremely paranoid and he's worried about her well-being. Now, Melody's paternal family said that Buzzard was not permitted or has not permitted them to contact the girl since 2021, and they're extremely concerned for Melody. Now, Melody's father, Ribiel Panoy Menza, was killed in a motorcycle accident shortly after the girl was born in 2016. So there seems like there's a lot of maybe family drama, and a lot of that can happen when a loved one dies and there's grief. And if there was any relational friction before that, there can be a lot of drama and a lot of stuff where, look, I've done it before, I'm not proud of it, where you might have, for various reasons, your head up your behind and, not think of your kids first. I can say I corrected myself fairly quickly, but I did have a bit of the cranial rectitis at one point. So there might be more about that. This might be, the father's family wanting more contact. That being said, that is, more speculation on my part, except for the next paragraph. The girl's paternal grandmother, Lily Dean, said she had initiated the process to try to gain custody of Melody several years ago due to concerns over Buzzard's well-being and ability to care for her. Now, Lily refers lovingly to Melody as her baby, despite the fact that the girl has grown considerably since they were last able to see her. So it does seem like this might be more of a custody thing, and hopefully, in the switch of all the other cases, hopefully this does become a case where we find she was stashed and she is safe and okay. It does seem like the mother went through an inordinate amount of effort to conceal where she dropped her daughter off, and hopefully that means that her daughter is safe and alive, and just her mom is trying to keep her from seeing her father's family, which is still a horrible, awful, gross thing to do. But hopefully this little girl comes home, because I will lose it if I have to do one more story of my child disappeared and it's the daggone parents. I swear, if I had $1 for every, I'd have at least $15 for every case of that I've done since starting Mornings with Mo. Florida, please let this be J Hatch. Please let this be the hospital that now is fighting Maya Kowalski for the settlement that she so much deserves and they so much deserve to pay. A tot died of a massive heart attack after a doctor accidentally missed a decimal point, giving him 10 times his prescription dosage, according to a lawsuit. A 2-year-old boy has passed away in a Florida hospital after a doctor negligently deleted a decimal point in his prescription, resulting in the underweight toddler receiving 10 times a dosage of medication that he should have had. Now, DeMarcus Page tragically got overdosed with potassium on March 3rd, 2024, causing him to suffer massive brain injuries and forcing him to spend 2 weeks, on life support machines until he was taken off, according to a lawsuit filed by his mother last week. Now, it isn't J Hatch. It is the University of Florida Health and its Shands Teaching Hospital and clinics, as well as the medical staff that bumbled treatment, are being sued by Dominique Page, his mother, including taking 20 minutes to intubate him after he went into cardiac arrest. Now, that is way too long. That is unacceptable. And the fact that no doctor, no pharmacist, because I've worked in a medical office, I've worked at giving medications. You check the prescription, you check the medicine, you check the prescription, you check the medicine. And if something doesn't look right, you say something. I mean, even when I was, a lowly, clinic or tech that was just working in a house with adults with developmental disabilities, if there was a new medication that I was unsure of, I would call my supervisor and say, hey, this is a new med. I'm just making sure that, we've got the new med. Now, I don't understand how a doctor or a pharmacist and then a nurse giving potassium wouldn't have noticed any of these, the missed decimal. Not to mention the delay on intubation. Now, DeMarcus, who was suspected of having some level of autism, was a picky eater, and that's what had first landed him at the Advent Ocala hospital on March 1st, 2024, with a virus and dangerously low levels of potassium. Now, he was given an IV fluid to help with his low electrolyte levels, and the next morning he was transferred to Shand Teaching Hospital and Clinics in Gainesville, Florida, in order to receive a higher level of care. Now, a higher level of care should have caught a missing decimal point, but I mean, what the heck? Now, Shand's medical staff found that DeMarcus weighed about 21 pounds, or in the 30th percentile for his height, age, and weight. So every time you go for like a wellness visit, your pediatrician will weigh and measure your child and then kind of tell you where on the bell curve they're sort of averaging out. And 30th percentile might seem really small, but as long as he's growing on a curve, so he might, consistently be at 30th percentile, but as long as he's continuing to increase just a little bit, it really doesn't matter where they are in the percentages as much. But it is something to note, and he was a teeny tiny guy, so that should have all been taken into account when giving him medication, and I cannot believe that this got missed. Now, the boy was given electrolyte replacement therapy, sorry. English is my only language, and some days I just can't do it. But the next day, Dr. Jabi Chen unconscionably ordered that the boy be given 10 times the level ordered the previous day, which had been calculated based on his weight, size, and the day previous's labs. So he basically ignored all the previous data and decided to give him whatever the hell he wanted. Now, Chen errantly ordered the extremely high doses, deleting a critical decimal point in the prior day's dosage of 1.5 mmO. So I think milliliter per mole, but don't get me started. It's been a long time since I've done mathematical medicology. So then he went up to order a liquid supplement to give 15. So he went from 1.5 to 15, which is incredibly easy to notice. You should notice this. Anyone giving this medication should have thought, that's a hell of a lot. Now, this is on top of 2 other forms of potassium that DeMarcus had already been receiving through IV and Pedialyte. So potassium is what helps regulate your heart rate. It helps with the electrical impulses, your brain. It's just as dangerous if you have too much potassium, if you have low potassium, and this is pissing me off. Now, no one else on the medical team or the pharmacist caught the error despite a red flag warning in the hospital's pharmacy system that alerted everyone to the excessive dosage, according to court documents. Now, the toddler then received the 2 excessive dosages, which caused him to go into cardiac arrest caused by the overdose, or hyperalkalemic cardiac arrest. So I do not know where this is going to go. Florida, in my opinion, doesn't have a good track record of honoring patients that, they screw over. But that's just my opinion after Maya. This is a horrible, horrible case. And the fact that it wasn't caught despite the red flag warnings, I believe would be a clear as evidence of neglect. But we have seen in Florida in civil cases that apparently hospitals don't have to really do a good job. It's just YOLO. Whatever happens, happens, I guess, in Florida. Well, this is an update to a case we brought you I think I had yesterday. This particular inmate is now deciding that since he won't pick whether he would like injection or the chair, which defaults into lethal injection for his locality, he's decided to try to plea for just a life imprisonment sentence instead of capital punishment. Now, attorneys for death row inmate Harold Wayne Nichols are asking the governor to convert his sentence to life imprisonment with just a month until his scheduled deletion date. Now, in asking for clemency from the governor, Bill Lee, they point out that Nicholas confessed to the 1988 assault and murder of Karen Pooley, a 22-year-old student at Chattanooga State University, as well as other assaults. So definitely was a bad guy and confessed, and my guess is that they did have evidence to link him. Quote, Wayne's early taking of responsibility takes him and sets him apart from most others on death row. In fact, he would be the first person to be executed for a crime he pled guilty to since Tennessee reenacted the death penalty in 1978, the petition says. Now, clemency essentially asks for an act of mercy by the governor, who has the power to unilaterally commute a death sentence. Now, it is a last-ditch effort to prevent his execution after all of his appeals have been exhausted. Now, the last time that a Tennessee governor granted clemency was in 2011 when Phil Bernstein commuted Edward Jerome Harbinson's death sentence to life without parole, saying that the 1983 murder of Edith Russell was heinous but did not merit execution. So it does look like this will become something that will be very important in Tennessee. And I do wonder, how the governor is going to react to this. I'm not from Tennessee. This wasn't a crime that I was intimately affected by. So it's going to be something that he has to decide as he represents, in theory, the voters of Tennessee and what they would want. That being said, I don't like that this becomes political. And I don't know what kind of criteria he's going to use for clemency. If the, taking and pleading guilty is actually going to be something that works this time, it's something that I will keep an eye on. I don't know about that. I don't know how family members of the victim will react. So there is a lot of balancing that the governor will have to do, whichever way he decides to go with this. But I will keep you guys updated on what might be going on with this case. Well, we do have an answer as to how or in what fashion the deadbeat Arizona father who left his, young toddler to die in the scorching car, how he shuffled off this mortal coil. The Arizona father who self-deleted to dodge decades in prison after leaving his 2-year-old daughter to pass away in a hot car, apparently took his life in a haunting echo of his heinous crime, suffocating himself in his own vehicle. Christopher Stokes, 38, was found dead in the garage of his Phoenix home that he had been sharing with his wife, Dr. Erica Schultz, around 5 a.m. on November 5th, just hours after he had taken his own life. Now, exactly how he's passed away has yet to be confirmed, but it is believed that he has passed due to carbon monoxide poisoning, the Maricopa County Examiner told the Daily Mail. Now, the death was previously confirmed as a suicide by police and Arizona prosecutors, while the family said the car he died in was not the same vehicle in which his daughter Parker passed. I mean, he was watching pornography, okay? I have no sympathy. He could have stood up, taken responsibility. He could have stopped leaving his kids in the car when his wife asked him to. He could have just been a dad. Yeah, parenting stinks. Yeah, sometimes you have to wrestle a sleeping toddler inside, when it's the last thing you want to do because you're a parent and the car isn't safe. Sometimes you have to not be able to watch all the things that you want to watch or do all the things you want to do because you're a parent and there are little people that depend on you. So I'm finding it hard to have sympathy for this man. I really, really am. And I know I'm supposed to, but I don't. So it's something I'll work on later. Now, we all know the story. The father, air quotes, inverted comma, had been drinking beer and playing videos, watching porn when, the toddler was baking in his car. Now, he did plead guilty to second-degree murder in October and was expected to spend up to 30 years in prison. Now, he self-deleted either the night before or the exact day he was supposed to start serving his sentence. So, like I said, I feel very sorry for the family to have to experience another loss because no matter how much of a schmuckety schmuck I think he was, I know that his mother's grieving the child that she birthed. I know that his wife is grieving the less than perfect husband that she had, along with the daughter that she lost. So it's not lost on me that this man, in the final act of cowardice, caused more destruction and pain to the people close to him. And I'm sorry for them. I'm not sorry for him. Well, now this is a case I didn't really keep up with, mostly because it was a whole lot and I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. But Alex Murdaugh's housekeeper is saying she knew the lawyer took the life of his wife and son in a new bombshell book. So if you are into the Murdaughcity of it all, it looks like there's a new book out there by the housekeeper of, Alex Murdaugh. The woman who helped maintain disgraced lawyer Alex Murdaugh's sprawling South Carolina estate has now shared how she knew that her boss had killed his wife and son as he faces the possibility of a retrial. Bianca Turbante Simpson, the Murdaugh's housekeeper who served as a key witness at Alex's double homicide trial, details in her new book, Within the House of Murdaugh, Amid a Unique Friendship, Bianca and Maggie had just the longest title ever. How she had served the family since 2007 and became very close with Alex's wife Maggie over the years. It was due to that close relationship that Simpson said she knew something was wrong as soon as she pulled up to the family's 1,770-acre hunting estate on June 8, 2021, just hours after Maggie, 52, and her son Paul, 22, had been shot to death outside the kennels. Now, she told police how Alex had called her in a fervor that morning, telling her they're gone and asking her to clean the house at the Moselle estate because Maggie's parents and others were on their way. But when she arrived, Simpson said she noticed Maggie's Mercedes SUV was parked on the right side of the home, something that she had never done in all the time that Simpson knew her. Now, when Simpson, a U.S. Navy vet and former corrections officer, then found Maggie's pajamas and underwear perfectly laid out on the laundry room floor, she knew something was wrong. Now, again, you guys, I did not get into this case, but if this is a perspective you want to hear about, I really don't have a dog in this hunt as far as what do I feel about Alex Murdaugh. I didn't watch the trial, so I really don't have an opinion as of right now. But this does look like another person coming forward. It does kind of give me a little bit of the ick when people kind of tangentially related start making books and stuff to somewhat profit on tragedy. Again, I understand the sort of the need to put out your personal story and to give another, perspective, but it also gives me a bit of the ick. However, I would be sorely tempted if something happened right near to me. I would be writing a book, so I'm a hypocrite. Look, I'm not above trying to grift off of, tangential close stuff, but it does give me just a scotch of the ick. I don't think we're ever going to find out exactly what happened that night. I do think that the investigation was a bit of, crazy. So I will be catching up with the Murdaugh trial at some point. If there is a retrial, I will definitely want to watch that. But I'm kind of going into it not really knowing anything, so I can kind of make up my own opinion. But if you're interested in this book, it does look like a different perspective at least is coming forward. Whatever, you put on that, I don't know. Well, looks like he won't be slipping out soon. Diddy sees his prison release pushed back amid alleged alcohol consumption. Well, he needs some baby oil so he can slide under this, allegation. Sean Diddy Combs' prison release date has been pushed back by nearly a month. The 56-year-old, who is behind bars at New Jersey's FCI Fort Dix, as he serves the 50-month sentence for his conviction on sponstitution charges, was previously scheduled for release on May 8, 2028. However, the Bureau of Prisons website now shows an anticipated release date of June 4th, 2028. Now, a reason for the change has not immediately been made available, and the BOP was not able to be reached for a comment amid a lapse in appropriations due to ongoing government shutdowns. So we might figure this out now that the government's back. We can see what Diddy did. Did Diddy did it or didn't he? Anywho, apparently prison hooch will set you back a month. So there you go. Looks like he's finally having consequences, and he needs to take his self-healing journey maybe a bit more of consequence. In possibly, well, the headlines that'll make you scratch your head and wonder, well, this is why aliens don't come and give us their technology. I've found the stories so you guys can just sit back, relax, and think, this is why the aliens don't give us technology.
The key-keeped scroll, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
In possibly the funniest headline, I mean, New York, I guess you were too busy screwing yourself to watch other people screw each other. But congratulations. Cornhub said that traffic plummeted on New York's mayoral election night. So what were New Yorkers watching instead of, well, boffing? Cornhub traffic plummeted in the Big Apple on Tuesday night as nervous New Yorkers watched the election count come in, according to new data surveys from Cornhub itself. Visits to the X-rated site were down a staggering 41% at 10 p.m., around the time that Mayor-elect Zoran Mandani took the stage to make his victory speech. Again, they were watching a corn of a different kind, political one, where we all get screwed. You perverted, degenerate voyeurs. Nothing will stop corn except socialism. I mean, there you go. Now, given Mandami's popularity in certain Brooklyn neighborhoods known as the Commie Corridor, it's no surprise that the traffic drop was most pronounced in that borough, down 35% on average for the entire evening from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. That's a long time for those master debaters to abstain, isn't it? Now, voters in Staten Island appeared to be the least invested in the election outcome, that borough seeing the smallest traffic drop, just down to 15%. So there you go. New York. They watched a corn of a different kind, a political one. A warning to all parents, grandparents, and people who know smallest children. You have been warned. Zootopia 2 is coming out. Shakira is releasing a new audio earworm. I apologize. I would like to say that as a parent who has struggled through Let It Go, and all the other earworm songs of the last 20 years, we soldier on and we get earbuds. But you have been warned. Disney is releasing a new Shakira video for Zoo on Wednesday. Now, the song is in the sequel Zootopia 2 in theaters on November 26th. Now, Shakira played a gazelle in 2016's Zootopia, and she returns as the character with a new song. Again, I would get earbuds. I would play Wu-Tang Clan, anything to get you through these terrible, terrible Disney songs that your children will want to listen to on loop. You have been warned. Now the singer will dance on stage in a purple costume with horns on a purple set with animated tigers in the, new video for the movie. So you've been warned, and the third verse is in Spanish, so watch your kids try to say Spanglish. You have been warned. I have warned you all. Just let it go. I say as I am almost left crying, like, please don't do it. Please. No. Yes, we are back to Leonard Nimoy's Ice Cube Earth. Hell yes, we have come full circle. It's the circle of life. Or the circle of climate change, or whatever the hell it's supposed to be. But I am back. We are back with Ice Cube Earth. And I'm here for it. Except that now that I am cold-blooded and can't live without 80-degree heat like a daggone lizard person, where is this global warming I was promised by Al Gore, gosh darn it? I watched An Inconvenient Truth. I had an inconvenient thought. Damn it. I was promised heat. And now we're back to Ice Cube Earth. Well, scientists are releasing a controversial claim that the Gulf Stream could be near collapse, predicting a new ice age. Well, I mean, I guess if it's a new ice age, I can always put on more blankets. I mean, once you're naked, you're pretty much naked. If we're getting a heat wave, I guess I'll get take Hoth instead of Tatooine if I had a choice. A key Atlantic current could be being pushed to the brink of collapse within decades, supposedly ushering in a brand new ice age and dramatically raising sea levels. Climate scientists who claim to have a controversial new study published in the Journal of Communications, Earth and Environment have put out. Now, the apocalyptic predictions come as a result of collaboration between researchers at the Institute of Oceanography and the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the University of California, San Diego. 1 week after one-time climate alarmist Bill Gates publicly downplayed the impact of temperature fluctuations on the planet. So I guess we're going to die either in fire and ice, but we'll have to wait till J.R.R. Martin finishes the final Game of Thrones series, because I don't know. I mean, I think in 20 years when he finishes it, we will know for sure if Jon Snow rules us all. That being said, I don't know. That's all I know about Game of Thrones right there in that little quip. So I guess we all need to start, packing on our winter fluff to keep us warm this summer or this winter. Now, per the study, the at-risk current in question is the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC. That thing we always talk about around the water cooler, the AMOC. It's like a conveyor belt of the ocean that funnels warm water toward the ocean's surface from the tropics to the northern hemisphere. Now, this current, which does include the Gulf Stream that runs from the Gulf of Mexico to the U.S. East Coast and across the Atlantic to Europe, helps maintain the mild climate of Europe, the UK, and the eastern seaboard. So, there we go. Ice Age it is. Now, a study stated that the source of this marine temperature regulator, a Greenland ice sheet, is being thawed amid warming temperatures, causing meltwater to run off and leach into the northern Atlantic, leading to stagnation. Well, I mean, once they figured out whether we're going to go, in a fiery raging storm or an ice cube, let me know so I can, plan my TJ Maxx shopping cart, accordingly. I don't know. Look, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know what we're going to do about this, but I'm just glad that we can bring back Leonard Nimoy and Ice Cube Earth, because I've been too worried about, hotness. A French octogenarian took a wrong turn while driving to the doctor's office and ended up 1,000 miles away in another country. He was not using my GPS. I was, in fact, not taking him anywhere, but it does sound like directions that may have come from me in spirit. Last week, an 85-year-old man living in France, western part of France, accidentally went on the road trip of his life while trying to reach his doctor's office. A commute that's, about 12 miles from his home. Now, the elderly man never arrived for his doctor's appointment, but it was only because he missed the meeting of the association of which he's a member, that his family started to kind of worry, hey, where's Grandpa? Where'd he go? I thought he was going to the doctor. As time passed, the man's family began to worry, and even his neighbors noticed his absence. Soon the police were contacted about his disappearance, and they in turn asked the military for help to geolocate the man's phone. Now, the octogenarian's family feared that something might have badly happened to him, but they never expected the answer that they got from authorities. Now, the military tracked down the man's missing phone to a hotel in Croatia, nearly 1,500 kilometers or 932 miles away from his home. He'd apparently driven for 20 hours, passing through Italy to reach southern European country of Croatia. You'd think after about hour 10, you'd say, my doctor's office is usually nearer. But I do understand when you're stubborn and you're like, I am not asking for help. I will figure this out myself. I'm just saying that my motivation to be, all by my own self would have probably been depleted at around hour 3, not hour 20. Now, when asked how he had ended up there, the 85-year-old man said that he didn't understand what had happened, adding that his road trip had been the result of a GPS problem. Now, according to, his relatives, although he's clearly not in the prime of his life, the octogenarian is not known from suffering from cognitive impairment or disorientation issues. And he's, frequently traveled to Croatia to, for fun, I guess. And apparently he has, gone to Croatia several times, but his family did go out to Croatia to retrieve Grandpa, which I still don't know how, again, like hour 2, I would say, I'm going to call for help. I'm going to refigure my GPS. I'm not 20 hours in and I'm going to. Now, I am tempted to do this, but I don't need a 6-pack that bad. But if you have 600K and you want a 6-pack, apparently you can get one. I just don't know why you would want to. Unable to develop his abs the natural way, a Chinese influencer spent over $500,000 on hundreds of hyaluronic acid shots to build himself a fake 6-pack. I hope the Twinkies and sentient cockroaches do better than us. When the squid take over the earth and, become coherent and sentient, I hope they do a better job. Archaeologists are going to look back at our time and be like, were y'all on Quaaludes? Now, the fashion and beauty content creator who uses the name Andy Hao Tinyan on social media recently shocked his fan by revealing that 20% of his body contains hyaluronic acid. Now, the young influencer went viral last month after he spent nearly $600,000 to have 40 doses of the acid injected to his shoulders, collarbones, chest, and abdomen. No, don't. Why? That just looks painful, and doesn't it fade away? And it doesn't look right. It looks kind of wonky. Like, I don't even look. Hey, if it makes him feel smexy, good. But I don't have 600K to give myself fake abs. I guess I'll just continue using my walking pad. I totally agree that muscles don't grow on cowards, he said, but you have to understand I had to have so many injections. I'm no longer a coward anymore. Could you dare do the same? If my abs have not disappeared in 3 years, I will apply to Guinness for the longest lasting artificial abs made of, acid injections on records. And I'll do a live stream cracking walnuts on my abs for everyone to see. Well, he has the grace and beauty of a young teenage girl. I mean, it looks wonky. It doesn't look right. There's something very, very wrong about that. And it's so Ken doll and it's so weird. Look, no offense, sir. If you feel good about yourself, I'm not one, but I don't get it. Look, mark me RSVP'd okay from, ab injections. I shall be fine. Now, say something about bingo wings. That's where my vanity lies. That's where I could be convinced to spend a lot of money. Well, the internet has heard our call. The random scion of people seeking a new Ben Affleck smoking pic. The memes of the old dejected Ben Affleck might have gotten a little stale, but we now have a new picture of Ben Affleck smoking to make our meme dreams come true. Ben Affleck again becomes a meme after a new smoking pic has gone viral. A Ben Affleck smoking meme has once again made headlines. This comes after the actor was photographed taking a cigarette break outside of Hollywood's Sunset Tower Hotel. Dressed in a three-piece suit with his shirt slightly unbuttoned, Affleck looked relaxed. The candid moment quickly went viral, with fans drawing comparisons to previous images of the star. Now, Affleck has once again sparked online attention after being photographed smoking. Well, let's see here. Do we have a happy Ben Affleck? I just don't know if that's I mean, he still looks kind of pissed off, but the world needed a new Ben Affleck smoking meme. So the internet gods have graced us with ask and you shall receive. He does, I mean, he's a handsome guy. I'm not going to take that away. He does seem to have terrible taste in women, but I mean, we all have our thing. So there we go. Ask the meme gods have given us again, something. Now, this is a case that I find very interesting, and I think it's one that lawyers in LawTube might find very interesting. It is a longer article, so buckle in, because it does raise some questions as I was going through it. Although it is despicable, it is like gross stuff, but it's still an interesting legal thought. A Wisconsin man charged with virtual child grossness is challenging the constitutionality of laws and has his court day moved. A 20-year-old man had a court day moved after additional motions were reportedly filed. Now, court records show that Milo Schneider, who is charged with several counts of virtual child grossness possession, filed with his attorney a motion that challenged the Wisconsin statute as constitutionally vague and overbroad. Now, Schneider is set for a motion hearing on January 30th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. Now, a 21-year-old, I'm going to say Tachita, some town that I cannot pronounce near Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, was charged with 9 counts of possessing virtual child grossness on August 4th. Now, court records show that Milo Schneider appeared with his attorney, and another hearing is scheduled for the 10th at 2 p.m. In addition to the 9 felony charges, Snyder faces a misdemeanor for resisting and obstructing a police officer. Now, basically, because it is virtual and no children were actually involved, he's kind of going on freedom of speech. Now, he has filed a motion to dismiss the possession charges, alleging that it is an infringement on his First Amendment rights. Now, I think that this is, while reprehensible, an interesting legal argument, because if no children were actually used, is it deplorable? Is it despicable? But is it covered under First Amendment? I don't know. And I do think that this is sadly something that we're going to have to tackle with AI. Can AI be used to make disgusting, abhorrent stuff? And is that acceptable? Is that something that is covered under the First Amendment? I don't know. I'm not a legalologist. I'm not a lawful law person. I think it's reprehensible. I think it's gross, but I don't know legally where anything statutorily is going to fall. So that's why I find this case and going forward to be very interesting, because I do think that we're going to see a lot more of this. If child grossness purveyors learn that virtual child grossness won't get them sent to the pen, is that going to be something that we're going to have to tackle legislatively? How do we tackle that legislatively? Where does the First Amendment come? Where does, protecting children come in? I think that these are all things that the legal system and our laws haven't caught up to yet, but I do see them being challenged in the coming future. Now, according to a criminal complaint, Milo Schneider was charged in November 2024 after a cyber tip was reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in April of 2024 by Amazon Photos Trust and Safety Team. Now, an investigation into the reports identified over 13,000 images of virtual child grossness. The complaint said that Fond du Lac police detectives said it was difficult to distinguish if the images were artificial intelligence or, real with unknown victims. Now, the complaint states that the photos were very realistic and showed children and infants in child grossness with either other children or adults in just various gross and disgusting ways. Now, according to the complaint, during a search warrant on Schneider's residence in November, detectives did ask him about the types of salacious material that he watched, which he didn't want revealed as he was in public, and hoped that there was nothing wrong with a little self-relief. Now, Schneider was reportedly asked if he'd seen anything illegal. By this country's standards, sadly, yes, but I will hope that this country also understands that I'm not going to redistribute or sell it, Schneider reportedly said. I just want it for personal gratification. Now, regarding the motion to dismiss, which was filed in a hearing on July 14th, 2025, Schneider and his attorney sought to dismiss counts 1 through 7 and 9 through 10, all of which were for the possession of the virtual child grossness, arguing that prosecution of those images would be a violation of his First Amendment rights. Now, on April 8th, 2025, the defense filed a motion to make more definitive and certain to request that the state explicitly define what alleged charges were as to Schneider being prosecuted for what he had in his possession. Now, the motion to dismiss states that a hearing on May 12th revealed that the state would be proceeding on the theory of mere possession. Now, Schneider and his attorney's motion to dismiss cites several recent court cases regarding the First Amendment, citing that it bars the government from controlling what people see, read, speak, or hear. It did, however, acknowledge that there are limits, especially regarding pornography with real children. Now, one landmark case was cited in the motion, New York versus Ferber, stating that the First Amendment does not protect the sale or manufacture of child grossness material, but the motion added that Ferber case had acknowledged an alternative. The Ferber court recognized that some of the works of child grossness may have value and that virtual images were an alternative and permissible means of expression. No, it's not. No, it really, really isn't. Let me just tell you from like random American citizen number 1,012/B. No, we don't co-sign this. No, I don't want this. This is the one thing I can say I'd be okay that we just don't allow. I mean, call me crazy. Call me crazy. I am not that much of a free speech absolutist that I think that virtual child grossness is the new frontier of awesomeness. Okay. I don't know what people want. I get the legal point that they are trying to make. And I think it is an interesting legal theory. And I think it is one that shows and highlights the very big gap between our current legislation and our new digital world and AI world. But I don't think that the lack of statutes, in advance of, changing technology means that this should be permissible. However, I do understand that there are going to be some people that say, the First Amendment is absolute. And if no children were harmed, I don't think that this is the hill that most people are going to want to die on as far as free speech. I do not think that this is the stake and, the civil rights movement that is going to motivate the nation to back this particular movement. I cannot in any way understand this, but I do understand. Morally, I don't understand it, but legally, I do think it opens a significant amount of question as far as, how our legal system is going to have to change in regards to updating technology. And I think that more states are going to see more child grossness purveyors and creators, I guess, trying to push things like this through. So legislatively, they need to take, they need to take initiative, which is something that no government I've ever heard does. But in theory, if they were paying attention, this would be something they would be on the lookout for. Now, according to the motion filed by Schneider's attorney, Timothy Hogan, the state is attempting to prosecute Mr. Schneider for mere possession of obscene material, which he claimed to be in direct violation of Schneider's First Amendment rights under Stanley versus Georgia. So this will definitely be something that we need to keep a lookout on. I don't say this, to scare people, but I do think that our current legislation is in no way ready to deal with these sort of challenges as to what, the internet and AI can do and how we should govern those, if we should govern those. I mean, we have to look at it from all perspectives, and there might be some people that are okay with this. Now, I don't know where they are, and I'd love them to come to the front of the congregation because I have some questions. But, we got some. In pop culture news, it looks like one of the island boys has been served a Baker Act detention. Now, I know these guys were popular a couple years back. I haven't heard them have anything new or current to release, but it's not kind of my genre that I typically keep up with. So they might have more, records and things like that I'm unaware of. Island Boys Alex Venegas, known as Fly Soldier, had a pretty interesting weekend. The musician's home received a visit from law enforcement agents who dropped by to detain him to fulfill a critical mental health checkup as stipulated by law. Now, Island Boys Alex and his brother Frankie became famous in 2021 on TikTok when their song "I'm an Island Boy" became a monster hit on this streaming platform. I remember it being a big hit for something. Now, one member of the former hip hop group was reportedly detained over the weekend for a psychological evaluation in the middle of a live streaming session at his residence. Now, local authorities reportedly arrived at his home on Saturday to carry out a Baker Act detention. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office stated they received a call to take action around 2 a.m. on Saturday, alongside full information about, his whereabouts and his address. Now, it's still unclear if Alex is back home. Sources have claimed that the length of the examination varies depending on how severe the case is, but some patients are kept up to 72 hours in detention. Now, according to TMZ, the Baker Act is a mental health law that is active in Florida, which gives the power to law enforcement or mental health professionals to recommend detainment for anyone believed to be a danger to themselves or others. I do think that Baker Acts are also somewhere else that, legally we are going to have to more clearly define what consists or what, triggers a Baker Act. Mental health is something that we need to take a good look at, and I don't have all the answers, but we need to do something better than what we've been doing. Everything else, I do hope whatever he's going through, even though I'm not a big fan or don't know of him, he gets the help that he needs, and good on, the people around him. It's noticeable a lot of people in Hollywood will have these sort of breakdown, odd behaviors in public, and the people around them don't seem to care whether they're doing well or not. So hopefully this is a case of someone caring enough to get him the help that he needed at the moment, and he'll come back and make more Island Boy song. Whatever he does. I don't know. Well, there's another reason to never go to New Jersey for me. The largest ever male great white shark ever recorded has pinged off the New Jersey coast. First, we had to deal with Snooki, now the biggest great white. Oh, the reasons to not go to New Jersey. Contender, the largest male great white shark ever recorded in the Atlantic, is on the move once again. Contender is an adult male shark that was tagged by Ocean Search in January off the Florida-Georgia coastline. Now, at a whopping 1,653 pounds and 13 feet long, he's estimated to be about 32 years old. Now, Ocean Search is a global nonprofit that tracks some of the ocean giants and marine ecosystems in order to collect data and better understand the species in the oceans. Since January, Contender has been pinged migrating from Florida up to the East Coast and into Canada, and now he's beginning his trek back down the coast. For a ping to register, Contender's dorsal fin must break water, and the Algros satellite must be nearby to record the shark's location. From April to mid-June, Contender was pinged hanging out on the coast of the Outer Banks in Carolina. Yeah, no, I don't need a great white shark. Now, at one point, he was pinged just 22 miles off the coast of Cape Hatteras. He continued migrating north in July and was pinged again in mid-July off the coast of Massachusetts. So it looks like he's kind of following the normal rotational migration, and it is kind of normal for sharks to head into colder, more prey-rich waters in the winter. But yeah, there's a reason that I'm still afraid to go in the water. Look, Jaws did its job. I was afraid to go in the freaking swimming pool. Like, I figured sharks were crafty, and that was even before Deep Blue, when we had the horrific movie where they made the sharks super smart. Like, I had the fear that sharks could come out of the sewer. Again, Jaws is masterful. It made me afraid to go into the pool in landlocked Indiana, okay, at 9 years old. Again, at 9, I didn't realize that logically the reality and probability of any any potentiality of a shark landing in my swimming pool was almost likened to the fact that Sharknado might be real. Was not something that factored into my logic tree. I hope, this shark continues hanging out and stays away from the Jersey Shore. I did not catch this case, but what in the Walmart rapture is going on here? I guess money can't buy you class. A millionaire who threatened to gang assault a flight attendant in midair meltdown has had his jail sentence tripled. Seems like, act like a douche, get, just desserts. A British businessman who threatened to gang assault and set a flight attendant alight has had his jail sentence tripled after an appeals court ruled that it was far too lenient. Salman Iftar, 37, was traveling first class from London's Heathrow Airport to Lahore with his 3 children and one of his wives. No comment. In February 2023, when he turned violent midair after downing champagne, which is not halal, so I have questions because you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol, sir. If you're in that Abrahamic faith that allows multiple wives, they kind of frown on drinking. But I mean, to each their own. As an a la carte Catholic, I totally understand. I'm just saying, your particular Abrahamic religion doesn't seem to be too tolerant of the a la carte kind of thought. But, to each their own. And I guess he just got a longer prison sentence. So though it swings and roundabout, the world balances out somewhat again. Now, crew members told him after he'd drunk, to get back in his seat. When told to stop, the defendant became irate and started filming cabin crew with his phone, telling them, "Do not tell me what to do, you B-words." Staff alerted the pilot, and the seatbelt signs were turned back on, which only seemed to aggravate the, bitchy millionaire even further. Now, according to both court documents and footage, he began shouting abuse and threatening senior flight attendant Andy Walsh. He told Walsh that she would be dragged from her hotel room and gang assaulted along with set alight. Because he's a normal good guy. He also threatened to explode the hotel where the cabin crew was due to stay once they landed in Pakistan. The situation grew so volatile that the captain considered diverting the flight to Turkey. Now, Walsh, a 37-year veteran of the airline, said the incident changed her life enormously. "I can't quite believe that one passenger has had this much of an impact on my life, my job, my career, everything. I'm strong and I'm brave. I love my job as a stewardess. I'm well known in the company, but I had to take 14 months off of work. The incident really broke me." Now, police arrested Iftar the following month in his home in Iver, Buckinghamshire. Now, he later pled guilty to threats to unalive and racially aggravated harassment. With the court hearing, he had previously 6 convictions for 15 offenses, including common assault and drunken driving. Now, in August of this year, he was sentenced to just 15 months behind bars, prompting MP Chris Phillips to refer the case to Attorney General under the UK's unduly lenient sentencing scheme. So this is something that would not happen in America. If, say, a jury or a judge decided to be lenient or downwardly departure someone, while the state could appeal it, there's not kind of a scheme or a governmental regulatory board that's going to come behind and judge something to be too lenient. I do believe that 15 months was very, very small for the amount of, harm he did. But I am glad to live in a country where sentences from juries or judges cannot be unilaterally changed just because governmental, authorities think it's wrong. Now, at the time, one of Iftar's 2 wives posted a message appearing to defend her disgraced husband and begging people to be human and understand the pain behind everyone's story. Mental health is not a joke. Before judging, try to understand and be kind. That's all we wanted from your husband, man, was for him to understand and be kind. I don't understand how your husband's inability to understand that desire to be treated as human and kindness is reciprocal, and you can't demand it while acting like an entitled douche canoe. I mean, the more you know. Now, the popular Pakistani actress, who has over 500,000 followers on social media, where she often shares clips of her husband, also lives in the UK with another woman who is the mother of his children. Now, following a review, the Court of Appeal has increased Iftar's jail time to 4 years and 3 months. A Solicitor General said that the new sentence better reflected the gravity and sustained nature of his threats and the lasting harm that they did to the flight attendant, Miss Walsh. So, yeah, maybe make sure he isn't brewing prison hooch like Diddy. Maybe just make sure. Now, we have something after this story that I think is we have our clip for our Mo Found What segment, but don't do drugs, kids. What in the method acting is going on with those eyes? And yes, I pronounced that exactly how I wanted to. Home Improvement star Zachary Ty Bryan faces horrifying allegations in an explosive court documents. I mean, don't do drugs, children. You can go from home improvement to whatever in the hell this gaze is. Like, he looks like he should be selling some sham wows and some of that onion chop. Billy Blaze eyes, okay? Home Improvement star Zachary Ty Bryan is facing fresh legal trouble these days as shocking new court documents claiming that he laid hands on his then-girlfriend are released to the public. Now, of course, the allegations against the 90s actor aren't the first of their kind, as Bryan was arrested and charged with various assault charges in October 2020 and July 2023. Do better, Mr. Zachary Ty Bryan. I can't believe I bought some copies of Teen Beat with you on them. Talk about peaking in the 90s. And it's sad. Now, according to a report from TMZ, Bryan allegedly laid hands on his then-girlfriend in the summer of 2025, threatening to take her life during an explosive argument. Now, the court documents detail specific allegations, which state that the Home Improvement star allegedly, close-fisted, touched her face in July, and after she bit his nipple. Look, Hollywood is weird. I hope that Zachary Ty Bryan gets the help that he needs, but don't do drugs, children. They're bad, okay? And keeping with that, we have... Where is it? The most hilarious anti-drug thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So let me boost the sound and get going because we need to learn why drugs are bad, okay? Let's let, early 80s public access television tell us why drugs and alcohol are bad. I'm listening.
I like to watch pretty girls run through cow pastures, particularly
when I learned that this was going to be about drugs and alcohol, the AARP crowd was not who I thought was going to be in the audience. I thought it was going to be young teens and not Bob Hope. But I mean, if anything, this looks like the pre-casting for the No Kings rally.
when they were dressed like those girls were. You really only find out about your friends after they're dead. See Dick? See Dick run? Run, Dick, run. I like Dick.
Who doesn't like Dick? I mean, it is kind of a question. I do feel bad for all Richards. I do feel like that's a dirty trick, but I mean, that's how we got this.
I'd never heard of a
$20 is $20.
Year-old alcoholic. Yet she was chug-a-lugging this stuff and died. And the 76 people died, and death doesn't bother me much. 50 deaths is not a...
I know this is clipped to hell, but where are we going? I thought Dick and Jane were going to be okay. I thought we liked them. Where?
A big thing. I see death all the time, so I've learned to live with death. And so the 50 deaths don't bother me. He was 8 years old. He smoked 4 California Golden Browns to go to the bathroom on his own.
Kids, don't do 6 California Black and Browns. Also, again, I feel like this isn't anything that these people are going to be talking about. Do they have teens? Why would we get, again, Wilford Brimley to talk about drugs? I feel like he should be telling us about pocket catheters and reverse mortgages, not, I'm okay with dead people. This man's like, death, I laugh at death.
Now you think about that. They're playing a little game called fruit salad. One night at our local hospital,
Don't look up fruit salad on Urban Dictionary. I don't know if it's there, but if it is there, it is something that you never need to see unless you're Brandon. Whatever a fruit salad is, who knows?
pumped 44 stomachs. 5 nights later, we pumped 65 stomachs. Are drugs serious? You bet your boots they're serious. It's a drug called brown horse, but you gotta stick it under
Brown horse? I am learning all the new things.
the skin somewhere. Well, you shoot it between your toes. Nobody knows if it's between the...
I feel like this person vaguely watched an after-school special and thought everything was real. Because yes, not legal street pharmaceutical sales always happen between doorways with a guy with a shady mustache. And thank you, Rickles, for the super chat. Good morning. See your email. I joined the Tim's party. Awesome. I will. And I sub to Rickles. He has a new channel, so go give him a sub, please. He is awesome. Let's hear more about not street legal pharmaceuticals. JKD Buck, Mo, I just returned from Urban Dictionary. I regret not taking your advice. Yeah, I have never actually had a substantiated case of someone actually shooting up between their toes, but I do like that this is sticking to all these Saturday, very special episodes of Step by Step and, 90210. I love it.
the toes. Shoot it under your tongue. Before long, you're shooting it into your eyelids. But this is Dick. It's too late for Dick. Dick is dead.
It's too late for Dick. Dick is dead, said feminist all in 2016. He tried the devil's lettuce once and he is DED dead.
Jane is now a known drug addict. Yellow Jacket.
Jane's in a wheelchair now. She tried the Quaaludes once and she's now in a wheelchair. He's like, she tried the ganja once, ran into the street plate in traffic. Now she's in a wheelchair. The segment brought to you by Viagra and Cialis. If Dick is not dead for longer than 4 hours, please go to the hospital.
Blue dots. These are barbiturates. When you have diarrhea, you put a few drops.
Barbiturates. Sir, if you're going to be doing a class about it, maybe pronounce it right. But, you know, this is the most I've ever learned. So I say continue.
In your food. And when you have that diarrhea, you really need that drug. Kill me, let me out of here. I don't want to live, let me die. Angel dust, magic mist, wobbleweed, powder from heaven.
Wobbleweed? We got barbiturates and wiggleweed. I have... Why did it suddenly go black and white? Oh, dear Lord. Are we in reefer madness now? Has the screen gone black and white for you, or is that the Quaaludes you didn't know you had?
Sprinkle it on a cigarette and smoke it. You can drink it. You can inject it. You can snort it. And that little girl was loaded with angel dust. She had scratched so violently that she scratched her right eye out. And he took a pair of pliers and pulled all his teeth out. I saw a boy chew his fingers off to the bone. I saw a girl eat the flesh off her arm. Of a mother who took her 2 children, stuffed them in an oven, and baked them. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a bright ray of sunshiny hope. So let's find another clip. Oh yes, we are going. Oh, I should not be watching this on date day. Oh, I have just become asexual.
Savage beauty. Look at that powerful body. Strength, grace.
Who did the editing on this? Who had the strong enough stomach to do the editing on this? Who? And I mean who decided that... Drugs are bad. We just watched a video. This is what happens. You'd have one of the wobbly weed, one taste of the devil's lettuce, and this is what you're doing. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why the tigers are going extinct.
Magnificent form. How does the tiger...
The tigers are dying from cringe. They're extinguishing themselves because they don't want to be involved with this man.
managed to keep himself at the peak of physical fitness for his entire life?
Why is he clenching his neck? I would think tigers to me are all like cat-like grace, not like constipated, guy. I'm like thinking panther grace, like cat-like grace. And he's like, I'm prairie dogging and it's coming out. He's like, that was a shart and I shouldn't have trusted it. Do you think that Charlie Sheen watched this?
He doesn't lift weights, work machines, perform calisthenics or aerobics, and he doesn't jog. Yet he can tear the head off a man. His power comes from his own exercise system, far different from man's, and also far superior. It is the ultimate exercise system, which I...
Between tiger moves and prancer size, chat, which exercise should I go with? Or should I combine the two and do prancer liar size? I don't know, but we're getting our beach bodies. It's either prancer size or tiger moves.
Call tiger moves. Ironically, when man sets about to improve his health and physical...
Look at the gun shows, ladies. And those aviators are hot. And look how formal that tank top is. That's a t-shirt that just said, no thanks, ma'am, to the sleeves. Not gun. It's like the gun shows out and we have a permit.
Fitness through exercise, he devises systems which lack the simple wisdom of the tiger. Low-impact aerobics has far less injuries than high-impact, as does belly dancing with its smooth.
I'm confused. So tigers engage in a lot of low impact aerobics, but if they get feeling froggy, they engage in belly dancing. Also, I'm glad to see they found a use for my laundry outfit for Wednesdays.
Smooth and completely natural.
Okay, 10 to 15 cans of Aquanet were emptied to create that hair. Thank you, Granny Smith. I bust a gut finding these, you guys. I love it. Because honestly, today was full of headlines of people going on human safaris, Zachary Ty Bryan being, well, a degenerate, whether AI child pornography is free speech. I mean, I have to watch these things so I don't go crazy. So thank you so much, Granny Smith. You find the best stories. Yes. Again, the amount of Aquanet and ozone hole that this lady's hair alone is, responsible for, there needs to be a class action lawsuit against White Rain and Aquanet.
Moves. Tiger moves. The best and most natural exercise system man can use.
Okay, now I hate to be the voice of logic because it's not my happy place, but if you were to sell, a great new exercise thing, you'd think you'd want to have someone in relative shape to hawk it. You think you'd want Chuck Norris. And they're like, no, Dad Bod number 4. You come here, Dad Bod. Can you do this? You're sold. Tiger moves are for you.
I'm John McSweeney, and I'm going to cover 7 of these basic tiger moves. Inhale back with tension. Exhale forward.
Why? Why am I getting a nipple shot? What in the Chris Cuomo did I do to deserve this crap?
Try to reach for the stars. Reach as high as you can. With tension. Great tension. Come forward with great tension.
I feel like the shorts could have been just a scotch longer and looser. I am so confused.
Feel the tension in the triceps muscles. Think into those thigh muscles, the quadriceps.
I love that he has socks. I love that it's shorts and socks. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go shirtless, but I'm going to keep my socks on for decency.
The hamstrings. The next tiger move is the stomach roll. This exercise now from the side, I push down and roll up. Flex, force it down. Come up.
That's what I'm doing right now to my breakfast, sir. Okay, we're getting off. Let's see him explain tiger moves. Be shirted. Oh, come on.
You've just learned in this tape 3 critical areas of life and self-defense. I'll leave you with one thought. It pertains to nations, it pertains to the individual. First a warrior, or all else is folly.
Okay, I can see it. The Navy SEALs are totally taking this over. Okay, guys, you can be like SEAL Team 6, and they'll be like, reporting for duty. And they'll say, have you done your tiger PT? And they'll say, I mean, I could see Chuck Norris doing what? Did anyone buy this? And if you bought this, please contact me because I have some questions. Oh, he even made a PowerPoint. I'm totally sold. Oh, wait a minute. What do we... Party makeup? Wheelchair defense?
My name is London. I'm here to find my soulmate. At this point, I'm thinking just about anyone would be just fine. Anybody.
With those Manson lamps, you're just looking for someone that's breathing? I foresee you on my Snapped episode, sir. Those are some deep, soul-piercing eyes. No, I was trying to find... No, I don't want you... Wait, what? Okay, this is probably going to get me demonetized, but let's see what's going on here.
Master Ken here with another secret street fighting tip. Recently, some students messaged me and asked me if I
Now,
had...
I am totally allowed to laugh at this because I have a walker. I do have a cripple pass that I will be sharing with all of you. So we are learning wheelchair defense because I need to know it because, you know, I might have to actually get in the chair. So I need to learn this and you guys all have a pass. So if you laugh at this, I have made it okay.
any wheelchair defense techniques. Wasn't sure why they would ask something like that, but then I started to analyze this situation and realized someone in a wheelchair can absolutely be a criminal. There's no rule that says someone in a wheelchair
That is true. We are candy capable of everything, including felonies.
can't be a terrorist. He could have a gun or a knife or a bomb on him. He could be breaking into my house to assault me or my family, or maybe he's just looking for a can of WD-40. But the point is, he's broken the law.
WD-40. And you know, all you need to have is a tri-level, and we're never getting through. We'll take out your main level, but your upper and lower levels will be fine.
He's posed a threat to me, so I need to analyze him, figure out how do I defend myself against a destructive disabled. Okay? First,
Screw it. That's my new punk band name, Destructive Disabled. In fact, that's going in on my LinkedIn. That's going in on my LinkedIn. Oh my gosh. You know, that's it. To be honest, I have been targeted a few times by men in wheelchairs, men with dementias, and grab my tush. You know, it is true. We do need to, we need to be on the lookout for us destructive disabled. Yes, I think so. Yeah, he's going into stealth mode, so keep your WD-40 out of arm's reach so we make squeaky noises. You can hear the little tennis balls on our walkers as we squeak forward.
thing that he has an advantage of is he is at striking distance with my groin. All the strikes he throws straight, gonna go right to my groin. Gotta watch out for that. Secondly, he can use his body as a weapon. He can throw his limbs at me, and even if I catch one, if I strike it, he's not gonna feel it, okay? So I have no advantage.
I mean, true. And Hagatha does have a hair trigger. You know, so if I do throw my, you know, grenade leg at you, it does have an automatic kick fixture.
Advantage there. He is also gonna have a very strong upper body. You know how as people lose their sight, but then their other senses increase. They can hear trains or smell mint from long.
They can smell mint from far away. You don't get mutant powers. I wish I did. All I get is the power to know when we're going to get a good storm front through because my leg starts bothering me, which is not what I had in mind when I wanted to have mutant powers of storm. I was thinking kick-ass and I could make my own Sharknado. No, God's like, your mutant power is you can tell when a storm front's coming through with pain. I was like, no, can I be invisible too?
Long distances, right? A paraplegic tends to be very strong in the upper body because they use it all the time. So if I try to reach and grab the chair, he's going to grab me. I may not be able to get away. And then the biggest disadvantage I have is that he literally has wheels attached to his body. He is what is known as a centaur, which is Latin.
A centaur? Yes, Living Life. This is from, let me get the name, Enter the Dojo Show. So, and I just, because my algorithm knows me, I get all the crazy stuff, but that's where this is from. A centaur. You know what? I'm a centaur too.
For half man, half machine. If I'm fighting him downhill on a decline,
I think the word he's meaning is cyborg, but I'll allow centaur.
and he starts wheeling after me, I'm not going to be able to outrun him. He's going to run me right over, so I got to watch out for that too. So what do I do to defend myself in
Yeah, we will definitely roll you over. Now, to be fair and honest, our rip the side, displays that my very spatially unaware behind has knocked over in the little go-kart thing. That's why I don't use those. But I have been known to, try to run into people, even with my walker. Apparently, I'm like a reverse sheepdog that pushes Mr. Mo into obstacles instead of leading him away from them.
a situation, being attacked by someone in a wheelchair, first thing I'm going to do, I got to keep his hands busy, so I'm going to fake high, which would technically be low in any other fight, right? If we were stand-up
High, low.
fighting, fake high would be up here. But if you're fighting someone that is sitting, voluntarily or otherwise, fake high is going to be the new fake low. So chair high. So fake high. Then I'm going to reach down, put the brakes on this criminal, literally decreases mobility.
That's how you get us. It's the brakes. Or just put the little foot pads up. We're lost.
So that I can spin out of striking distance and stun him with a dragon punch
that's
to
cold.
the back of the head. Okay? Now, I'm going to use a move designed by the famous dancer, Frank Shapiro. It is called a Piro.
Frank Shapiro. Not the name I thought he was going to pull out from the back of wherever.
I can spin without losing my balance and getting in perfect position to get rid of this wheelchair wacko.
Oh my God, you guys. I think if we get Judson Welcher some blue paint, we might finally figure out what happened to John O'Keefe. This makes much more sense than an SUV running into him. I need to call Canton.
Take him right out of circulation with a step-through sidekick like so.
I'm going all the way to hell. That's one way to deal with us, I guess.
Then for your trouble, you might as well get yourself a chair. Self-defense takes a lot out of it.
I could see Judson stealing the wheelchair too.
So that's how to defend yourself against a destructive disabled. I'm Master Ken. Attention! Salute! Yes.
Well, there you guys go. That is the news today. It was a lot of crazy and a lot of headlines that are going to have some big impact, especially if the Sarajevo stuff does turn out to be real. So at least we know what to happen when the cripple revolution happens. We have learned to self-denify or, defensorate ourselves. So, I love these new segments. I love that we can have some laughs after the headlines I have to bring you. Billaballs, we'll have to see if he has a new video, how he defends himself against the blind, because they can smell mint from very far away. I will see you all tomorrow. Remember, it's Friday tomorrow. I'm like, it's Friday tomorrow, question mark. Yes, it is Friday tomorrow. So I will be on with Shizzy with more of these clips, more crazy news, and fun times, along with a new song for News House Rocks. So hang out with me tomorrow, and then we've got a full Friday. I'll probably do a live stream of just these clips because I love them so much. So, you know, the destructively blind, we must figure out how to defend against them. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness doesn't equal doormat. You know, we've got human hunters and the great white, you know, off the Jersey Shore. Things might be happening, y'all. Bye, you guys.